So, welcome and apologies for absence.
Councillor Peter Howden, Councillor Paul Foyster, and who was that? Councillor John Bennett Collins, and no apologies received from Councillor Peter Safary.
Right, okay. So, item 2, declarations of interest. Do we have any declarations of interest, please?
Not as far as I know. I think mine's all covered on dispensation already got.
Yes, okay. Item 3, to review and resolve to agree the management document. Right. Isabel.
I thought we'd agreed this at our last meeting. It was agreed, but as we haven't got the minutes, then there's no record that we've agreed it. So the point of view of making it concrete that we have agreed it, with any amendments that were discussed at that last meeting, we need to really propose it and agree it again, because we haven't got the minutes of that meeting.
No, we haven't.
I've looked at the minutes. They're that brief. I unfortunately can't even write them up because they just haven't got any information in them.
Apologies, but we didn't.
What version did we get to then? Because was it the last meeting, was there still some amendments?
I think there was one amendment, and that was only, it was something very minor, but I think it was something around the dates or something like that, I believe. You've got a copy of it there, Sandra. Can I have a quick peep?
Yeah,
So
I mean,
probably remember
that's
what
the
it
only
was.
one I've got.
Right.
I'm assuming that's the latest.
Sorry to interrupt you. There's no supporting documents on the charity on the website. If something like that could be put on supporting documents, that would be appreciated. Thanks. Then we can make reference.
Yeah, when we've
Because we're still.
we will do that.
Yes, you're still waiting for the minutes we've just been discussing, but the previous minutes to that haven't been published either.
yes.
There's 2 lots.
Oh, right.
Okay, so the first part of it was where it's highlighted, it's saying about the conveyancing dates of, and it's got April 58 and April, which is 28, isn't it?
Yeah,
Is that correct?
I believe it's October 1928.
Yeah, so that
I'm
needs
happy for you
amending.
to
Do you want to read
amend
out?
that.
Do you want to read out the comment that's just on the minutes from the last meeting? It's very
That
brief.
might be helpful. Yes.
It just said agreed to recommend to HPC to EMR income for improvements.
Yes, no,
Does that
that
make
was,
sense?
yes. So
Yeah.
what we wanted to do was to earmark any income that comes to HPC only to be used on improvements to Carter's Park, not for the general running costs, but say like if we've got a project like Pump Track or doing any work to the children's play area, any income that comes from those leases that they manage would then be earmarked for that and that alone.
Yeah.
Which I don't think that was clear in the management agreement.
No,
when we said
But I think when we get down to item 4, that will hopefully resolve or move toward.
no, because
really. It's not
at the
really.
moment, within the management agreement, the parish council are responsible for all expenditure, but then we also deemed, because it was a lot easier, they would deal with the leases, so they still receive the income from the leases, so the football club, bowls club, but we suggested as a charity, given what we stand for and what the interest should be, that income that they receive from that should be ploughed back into capital improvements for the park and not just subsidising the general precept.
I quite agree. Tim?
Madam Chair, can I ask Sophie, we say with the agreement of leases, this is leasing by the park charity as opposed to the thing itself?
No.
So we're still doing the leases?
Yes, the recommendation from the legal advisor who's dealt with all of the management agreement is that the parish council still do basically, so in effect this is sort of like a lease management document, and then the parish council are subletting down to those, because then they're fully responsible for everything. So we as a charity are just overseeing that, but then that does mean that under this they are receiving that income.
Yeah, so effectively the council received the income, and then you want that to go through the council straight to charity?
No.
So where does the income go?
It will still be kept by the council, but it needs to be ring fenced. We need to
Yeah,
have
I
a formal
got you,
agreement that it cannot be used for just the general, like paying staff wages or general maintenance. So say, for argument's sake, I don't know, so if you rounded it up and you had an income of 3,000 a year, that £3,000 can only be put towards any projects that are going to be ongoing in the park.
I get that. So why does the charity need a bank account?
Because we may have funds that we can access at a
We've
later
got
date.
investments, etc.
Yeah, okay.
And we need to ensure that if we do anything, I mean, we can always apply for grants, there's possibilities for doing extra stuff in the future. We need to ensure that our finances are kept separate from parish councils.
I can see. I
Yeah.
fully get you. I
But the
understand
parish
what you're
council, what the parish council can do,
saying.
putting the other hat on, is they can put all of the income that they receive from those two bodies into an earmark reserve. And then that would be basically their version of the savings, etc. And then it could be earmarked for that purpose. But it's for us as a charity to determine how the parish council manages this park, not for the parish council to determine.
That's right.
Because my concern is that we need to be completely transparent, and if you can make me understand it, then I hope the general public will also understand it, because it's got to be something that they've got to be able to look at and see how it's running and see what is there.
I think the problem is that the lines have been very blurred for many, many years.
Yes.
This section needs removing. And it needs to be a lot clearer.
Yes, yeah.
As a charity, while we're sitting around this table, all we are interested in is what we are providing as a charity for the community. How that is done, we then can say to parish council, with regard to say the toilets, we want you to maintain a set of public toilets. How they do it is up to them, but as a charity we can instruct them to do so.
Yes.
How they fund it is up to them, but we as a charity can mould how we wish the park to be used for future generations. And also we can look at larger investment in the park further down the line. Once our investments start to come to fruition, we could say, well, we are now going to invest X amount of money back into the park and do this, this and this. So we can go out for grants, we can do all these sort of things ourselves. But the management agreement is very much saying, right, okay, you as parish council, you are maintaining it, looking after it, running it, but you can only do it within the remit that we instruct you to do so.
Which is not clear.
No, it's not clear.
And I think it's part 3, which we did discuss, charities' obligations, saying keeping the structure and exterior of the park and buildings, etc., in a good substantial state of repair. That's not the charity's obligations, that's what we expect the parish council to do.
So that just needs removing. Our obligations are none, basically. We are basically giving all of the obligation over to the parish council to maintain it and keep it in good repair for us. But we can instruct and say, well, we want provision for X, Y, and Z to be maintained within the park. So if, for argument's sake, the parish council deemed that they wish to remove the bowls club and no longer have the bowls club there, we as a charity could instruct them to say, well, no, we want the bowls club to remain. That's our remit. That's what we should be
I
doing.
think it's 2 point. Sorry.
So,
Yes.
just from RFO point of view for Holbeach Parish Council, we should have nominal codes then for outgoings and income for the charity.
No.
So how do you split
So
out?
you don't have to, I have no idea why this was done. We don't have to separate the charity's accounts within the parish council's accounts because they're not the charity's accounts. What it means is that, so we've got the COIF investments and things like that for the charity.
Yeah.
All of that side of things and any income from that and bits and pieces, that's the charity's assets.
Okay.
Carter's Park and anything within it is the charity's assets. So financially, the parish council don't have those assets either. They can be listed within our asset register, but the value should not be listed that should be
So,
the charity.
so the next question is, there are nominal codes set up?
Yeah.
for-
Yes.
So they don't need to be.
They don't need to be at all. How we decide to split our accounts as a parish council is down to us. Whether we decide to split that into Carter's Park cemeteries and split it down, that's down to us. But we don't have to have separate nominal codes for the Carter's Park, because what this management agreement is basically saying is the charity is instructing the parish council to maintain it. All expenditure is down to them. It is in 2.21 about how the income's used, which we can specify. But the parish council have to maintain it, the same as if it was a lease or a tenancy agreement or something like that. It just happens to be this is a slightly different
So
way to
all the financial stuff, I understand it, all the financial stuff is Holbeach Parish Council. If, for instance, like say you've got a grant funding, that's why you need a separate bank account, because that would go in. If the charity decides to do a fundraising day, that goes into your bank account, but everything else as per normal is
And
the
if
parish
we
council.
applied for a grant as a parish council, we need to specify that the charity is the owners,
Yeah.
not the parish council.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about.
Previously, I mean, if you look way back, it is a long while.
1980s.
Was it?
Yeah,
Was that the last
1980s.
time? They did used
Not
to
long.
produce a
Not
set of accounts for the charity, and it was a very simple set of accounts, and all it said was basically the money that came in from interest on the COIF accounts, which, again, we need to just make sure, and then it was just a very simple, so it's basically about 50 quid or whatever. There was very little within there, or 5 quid or whatever, but it was an in and an out or whatever it was, and it was a very simple set of accounts, and that was carried on right up until
But that
80s,
needed to
90s,
be,
and then that was it.
it was in the 1980s, the parish council applied for grant funding for the park, and they put the charity as the owners, and therefore they had to provide a set of accounts for the charity when they did the grant application.
So how does that affect, because obviously you've got a much better understanding of Carter's Park charity than I have. How does that affect the bungalow? And
That's not part of it.
No.
that is not part
No,
of it, so that's,
I
it's
don't-
in the Carter's Park, but it's not part of
It
it.
was
Does.
It was originally part
That's
of
fine.
the Carter's Park charity land when it was conveyed over. Then it appears when South Holland District Council basically became its entity because they did the local government reorganisation. Housing seemed to go after them. They then owned it for a while and we purchased it back. So it's the solicitor advised us that it's not part of the charity now.
Right.
But
Well, that's all I wanted to know,
Yeah.
it was just...
it's a bit of a messy,
It's a bit of a...
it's a
It is,
messy
isn't it?
situation. But
Yes.
yes, no, it's not part of the charity now currently
No.
as we stand.
Would you be happy to sit down with Becky and get that correct, so that when we have the AGM, we can present that to the AGM? Would that be all right with you as well, Becky? If
Yeah.
you,
And then that would
both of
then
you,
need
if
to
you-
also come to parish council to
Yes,
accept it.
correct.
So
Yes.
immediately that we've agreed it here at charity, the very next meeting of parish council, it would then have to be signed by members.
That's right. Pat, I can't really have you sort of...
It's for the benefit. It's talked about COIF just then rather briefly. Because when you do it and you do your list of assets, just bear in mind that one of those COIFs I think you'll find is actually allocated to the cost of the original building of those toilets.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Thank you. Okay, so we're happy with what we're moving forward on that. Do we need to discuss anything further at the moment, do we? Thank you. Item 4, oh no, we've got to resolve, we have yet to, yes. So can we have a Sophie, Jenny, all those in agreement? Thank you. See, you hadn't put it in the folder.
I didn't hear, that was afterwards, I've done it now, done it going forward.
Yeah, that's fine, I know. Item 4, to review and resolve to agree the opening of bank accounts. So, again, I think this was something we have spoken about, and I know you've both brought this up about having the Carter's Park Charity bank account, completely separate bank accounts,
Yep.
and
Well, it's
there
a no-brainer,
was...
Madam Chairman. I'll just propose it, because there's no point in arguing the toss.
No, I think it was something that we want to do, we need to do.
And if I propose
Right.
it.
Okay, so,
And I'll second it.
yeah, everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
It just needs to be a very simple charity or that type of account. Some of them take longer than others to set
Yeah.
up.
Sophie?
The only thing I would like to raise in that, we just need to double check with the existing, we've got 2 COIF accounts, one a smaller amount than the other one, where the interest from that is going. If it's ploughing back into the COIF account, that's fine. If it's been ploughing into the parish council's accounts, then we're going to have to reclaim that money from them because that's charity money. So we'll just have to look into that.
With compound interest.
Yes. Okay, thanks. Isabel?
And then also with regard to the COIF accounts, I know we did do it. We had to, we set up people that were the signatories, didn't we? We have got that agreed. However, you do need to keep them updated with all of the trustees' details. So your new councillors that were not there at the time when we did the original, they now need to be added, and anybody that has gone needs to be removed, because this is the problem, that they had no record of who we were. So when we were trying to contact them to talk about it, they hadn't got the same contact on there as the people that were actually in post at the
So I
time.
still think one of them's got Jill Harrington's name on
Well,
it.
it has, but that should have been rectified, because that was the whole point, that we couldn't change that until such time as they'd had all this
List of
paperwork
trustees.
with a list of trustees and the person appointed to be the officer in charge of
Yeah.
looking after the accounts. So they should have all that, but we do need to double check it. Oh, I forgot about that phone number for you, Becky, because that might come in handy
Yeah.
if you're trying to sort this out.
Yeah, thank you as well.
So will you be able to
Yeah.
find that information?
Yeah, I'll try.
Sorry.
Not willing to answer that,
No, I'm just...
100%, but yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure I can find.
Okay, that's fine, thank you very much. Right, we've agreed that, so that's fine. Item 5, to review and resolve to agree the formal registration as a charity. Presumably,
Why is it necessary?
We don't have to, do we?
We
Because
are
our
not
income is
registered by
below
charity.
we
a
don't,
certain amount.
yeah, so we don't.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
me too.
overcomplicate it at this stage. Get the management agreements and bank accounts and things like that set up that we have to do. We don't have to provide details to the Charity Commission until we get over a certain income, which may come if we receive grants, but we don't have to do that at this stage.
Okay.
And also, because we've got the issue of councillors coming and going like they're on Velcro, effectively, how are you going to keep the trustees?
Except for 2 councillors. Unfortunately, that's right.
I wasn't pointing fingers at
Item 6, to receive and
You
update.
just need to. So
Oh, we're not
Agreeing
to
now.
Yeah.
defer that,
Leave
sorry,
for the time
that's-
being.
Yeah.
Yes, so we've still got to resolve.
Resolve to
Okay,
agree to
yeah.
defer.
Resolve,
Yes,
yes,
defer
resolve to
it,
agree to
yes.
defer that, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
we've
it's all done.
done
Yeah.
that, good. Okay. Item 6, to receive an update on the telecommunication mast at Carter's Park.
Me and Sophie, you can go first, Sophie, if you want.
Yeah, okay, so I reviewed the planning application when it came in, they basically didn't do it correctly. They have to give notice before the application goes in to any landowners, and they serve notice on the football club rather than us, so I pointed that out to the planning officer.
That was all the paperwork that we'd had and we've seen.
Well, they did a pre-consultation to everybody, and they're saying that they didn't receive any responses. Even I know we did provide a response, but they haven't received it. But then when they've actually done the planning application, it's a prior approval, so it's a type of application where they have to go through certain steps and submit stuff. Before they submit the application, they have to serve notice, which is an official letter with loads of guff in it. They did it to the wrong person because it has to be to the owner. They obviously don't know the charity owns it, which does give us beneficial thing because until they know how to contact us as a charity, they can't actually erect the mast. So it means we've got a bit of negotiating power here.
And so that way the charity will own the land that the mast is on. I know we own it anyway,
Oh, yeah. Yes,
so
we do.
no question
Yes.
about that.
Mm.
Therefore, the money should come to the charity, shouldn't it?
So over to me, and I've contacted the company that obviously did write to the wrong people. I've told them under no circumstances they do anything further. No income is to be paid directly to anyone at this point because it is all ours. So they have ceased all of that. So at the moment it's all on hold, as with Sophie.
And that was the paperwork that we've seen that,
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
produced, yeah.
So it's halted at this point. They're going to come back to me once they've spoken and found out where it's all gone wrong, because it has gone very badly wrong. So
Because all that money has gone direct to,
yes,
well,
Yeah, previously it has.
I have-
Obviously, this is a new mast that they're talking
yes,
about.
yes,
And
exactly.
they did have the agreement at the time with because obviously they did contact Parish Council and they did contact the football club, and there were agreements made at the time, but subsequent to that now they want to put in a whole new thing, so that's a completely different ball game, isn't it? We're starting from the beginning again.
yeah. I did have to send them over documentation to prove we were the landowners, which I have done,
Yep.
and they've accepted that, so they do know that we are the landowners, and no more communication will go via the football club. It will come direct.
Will that though come up when they have their AGM? They've got their,
No.
won't it, in 16?
Well, they may do. They may discuss the
Yeah.
fact that they would be expecting that they would be getting some income coming their way.
But from
But
looking
that
at the
may
planning
be-
documents, the football club haven't communicated and requested this mast. It's the mast people have basically said, we're replacing it, we want a bigger one, we need one in the area. And they presume the football club own it because that's what they've got in their previous documentation.
Yes.
So,
I mean, obviously I'm going to that meeting and I'm sure there's others
Yeah.
hopefully going to that meeting. But I just wondered if that's, that's something that's
They do.
likely to come up.
And hopefully Pat's got a big smile on his face.
We answer your questions, some of them. So that was just to receive an update, so we need nothing further on that one. Item 7, to review and resolve to agree to obtain quotes for professional public toilet cleaning services. Isabel?
Okay, so I get why it's been put on here, because I know we've discussed about, they're not they're not brilliant, but they're not as bad as we thought they were.
No.
And if they're cleaned regularly, we want to try and open them through the summer months. That was what we discussed at Open Spaces.
Yeah.
However, the charity are not responsible for obtaining quotes. We just tell the council what we wish them to do with said toilets. We can't get the quotes, we can't pay them, can we? So, if
That was
we
my
are...
mistake. So.
Fully agree.
Well, no, it's not your mistake. If you don't know, you don't know, do you?
No.
So, at the end of the day, what we need to be agreeing here is, what do we want to happen? Are we just going to instruct Parish Council to provide some form of public toilet within Carter's Park and end of?
and how they choose
And
that.
how they choose to do that is entirely up to them. If they want to just clean the ones that we've got for this year and then look into doing something further down the line, that's up to them. But if we are requiring them to have public toilets that are open to the public, do we specify hours? What do we do? What is the feeling of people
We
around the
could
table?
be kind of loading them up with expenditure that they don't really want to have.
Well, I
effectively.
know, but that's not our problem, is it?
Yeah, I get that. So we have to put any other hat on, effectively. The
Yeah,
question
you've got to
is
do
whether the situation is that you've got to have the toilets open for the summer. I found it very useful to have the event, but I didn't. If they're not open all the time, I don't think you'll be able to monitor them. You have to be able to keep them safe, to tell the truth. But hey ho, it's up to you guys.
I think, with both hats on, I think it's something we need in there, as you say, with events. So if you sort of weigh it up with what it will cost to clean the toilets that are there, to just update and do any work that needs to be done with them, against what we pay to have toilets being brought in for events, I think, is that the way forward we need to be looking at it? I would have thought we need to be weighing that up.
I think the problem is the costing of it is not a charity matter, that's
No.
a parish council matter.
Mm.
What you could suggest is that you note they're not in a good state at the moment, but you could agree that you are instructing the parish council that you want them to look into options for providing decent toilets in the park, and they need to basically come up with a plan of how they're going to do that. Because then it may be that they can't do that in the short term, and they would have to justify to the charity why that can't be done. But if we as a charity are saying that's some provision we want within that park for the public benefit, then that is what we need to consider as a charity. So you can give wiggle room, but it's from the charity hat, it's delivering the aims of the charity, public benefit. Parish council hat is the whole costings, etc. and everything else.
So we need to vote on that we've
Well,
got
it's
to
not each
resolve
other, is
that
it?
it's not ours, but we've got to resolve, because it says we've got to resolve.
Yeah, but it's not the agenda item, is it? This is to resolve to agree to obtain quotes, and that isn't the agenda item.
Isn't
Can I
it?
suggest that we put something back onto the AGM, because we're going to have to do that very shortly, and do it more as a looser agenda item about what do we expect parish council to provide within Carter's Park. So list them.
Mm.
If it's toilets, if it's play area, if it's free sports provision, whatever. We list what we want them to provide. Make it very clear in our AGM that's what we want, and then that's what they have to do.
Basically agree how we are expecting them to deliver the aims of the charity.
Yep.
Right. Is that on the agenda?
Yeah.
So, I know it says we've got to review and resolve, so,
We resolved to
We've
agree
resolved
to add it to the
Yeah.
AGM to discuss
yeah.
full
So,
provision.
so are we all in agreement with that one? Yeah. Isabel did and
Yeah.
Tim.
Thank you.
Sorry, you okay?
Yeah, fine.
Thanks.
I can type fast. So.
I know you can. Item 8, to review and resolve to agree installation of CCTV at Carter's Park. Now, we had an interesting meeting with a CCTV company that we were expecting to be looking at the CCTV in Carter's Park, but it turned out they weren't. They actually were to do with the Boston South Holland Council, and they run the 4 CCTVs in the centre of town. During our conversation with them, though, what we did say was that we were looking at the CCTV in Carter's Park, and obviously that's something we've got to say what we need, what we are looking to provide there. And they did say that their person who deals with the cameras, the main cameras, called Danny, I don't know his surname, but would be happy to come along and just give free advice on what we would need in Carter's Park if we went down that road, and if that became part of what we need to take over, because in April we either have to take over the cost of that or we lose the CCTV altogether. So if the council then decides that they're going to continue with those cameras and say, for instance, yes, the ones in Carter's Park, that would then come under one cost, one maintenance and everything, and we would have better sight of that. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a quotation. We did get a quotation for CCTV at Carter's Park. We've had one, so we will need a few more because it is over our
Yes.
You'll need at least 3. So these guys came and did another quote, that's adding another quote in as well.
Yeah,
So.
yes, so. Isabel?
Well, again, the same situation. It's not our responsibility to put it in as a charity, but it is something that we could add to our nice little list that we're going to put on the AGM as to whether we require it or whether we not, or whether you're just putting in a caveat that you would want it to be a safe space for the public. How they make it a safe space is entirely up to them, ultimately.
Yes.
Because, you know, if you're going to be prescriptive and say we require to have CCTV in there as a charity, and, you know, as a parish you're then going to have to put it in there, that's, as Tim said, it's a huge cost. You know, you've got to be reasonable, but you do need to make it as safe as possible for the public to use. And there are many things that can be done in there other than CCTV. We did have the police come out several 2 years ago, and they went through a whole raft of things that could be done, most of which have not been done. So, you know, there are simple things that could be done to make it more visible for people, and so that if any things were happening in there, more people would notice it, and all those sort of things. And yeah, there were lots of things that they recommended.
Mm-hmm.
So
Do you have that information?
I can
somewhere.
find the email, yeah, because they seem to.
Because then that would be interesting.
Because
That would be interesting.
There's lots of things that they suggested, and if we as a charity put on our list that we require the park to be made as safe as possible for the public to use, that encompasses not just, you know, your safety, you know, with regard to people doing anything illegal. It also means maintaining our equipment to a level that it's deemed safe, all those sort of things. So you're doing a whole caveat of you expect it to be, like your pathways. You don't want a massive great big pothole developing in there, do you? Because it's trip hazard. All those sort of things.
So again, that's going to move over to the...
Resolve to agree to
Put it onto the
on the
AGM list.
Well, I'd like to propose what she said.
She being Sophie,
No,
or
Isabel.
Isabel? Isabel, right. So Tim, can we have a seconder? Isabel, all in agreement? That's fine, thank you very much.
poor old AGM.
Yes. Item 9, to receive an update on the tennis courts.
So the grant forms I've completed and sent back. I now need to invoice them for the money that we're getting, which I haven't done yet, but I will do. So yeah, it's all ongoing. So yeah, it's quite slow. I have to say their communication's a bit back, but yeah, if
But
it's
we're at the final stages now,
we're
aren't
at the final stages. Yeah.
Isabel?
This is just by the side. Once we know when it's going to be installed, can we look at doing some form of launch event? I know they said that they would help to do said thing, but I think we need, as a charity cross council, we need to make it very clear what it is about, and the fact that it will still be free at the point of use, so that people don't get confused and think that they've got to pay for it.
That's something we could cooperate on, isn't it, since we both do events?
Yeah.
An
Very
event
much
or
so.
launching the tennis courts.
Yeah.
I think it's important
Tennis,
that we need to do
tennis
something.
gala, rally, something, I don't know.
Something.
Yes. That would be good. Lovely. Fine, so we don't need to do anything more on that. We're happy with that. That's fine, thank you.
I know it's not on the agenda, but can we set a date for our AGM? Because I'm mindful that it is now a year since we did our last
Absolutely,
AGM,
yes.
and we need to be doing it.
Right. When, trying to think, that's usually a Wednesday evening, 6 o'clock? Or does it
As
not?
long as people are able to attend.
Wednesday's generally not best for me because that's when
Right.
South Holland committees are.
Yeah.
So
But daytime on a Wednesday.
Daytime on a
currently,
Wednesday.
Obviously,
okay.
we need to make sure we've got everything, we're okay with everything in place, and you've got some holiday coming up, so
Well, I can't do it next 2 weeks.
I don't want to
Wednesdays.
push too much of pressure back onto our clerk, so
I can't do next Wednesday because I won't be here.
I don't,
Big
that's
sun
not good
myself
enough,
in
no, it's
Greece.
not good enough. Any dates?
30th next one I can do, if you like, I'm obviously.
What day is that?
Wednesday.
Now, Wednesdays are no good for you, say Sophie, so...
I can do daytime on Wednesday. At the moment.
I thought that they were something that needed to be in the evening.
Doesn't have to be.
No,
If everybody's available during the daytime, that's fine. I mean, the reason it was an evening was because at the time it was people were working or whatever.
Mhm.
But if people are available,
I mean, the
it
only
doesn't
thing is
matter.
if you do have new councillors joining at your next full council meeting, they would then become trustees, and it'd be very good to have that afterwards, because then we can explain what this is all about and what on earth they're doing.
okay, well, so
What are you
shall...
proposing?
Have you got any? Have you got?
I haven't got anything on that day, no meetings or anything, so
On the 3rd, which just obviously some of the people actually are working, aren't they?
yeah, exactly, yeah.
So are you sort of 6:30 or something on Wednesday?
Yeah, that's
day?
fine.
Yeah.
Wednesday the 30th,
18:30.
6:30?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Meeting's now closed then. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Paul.
there's one thing left me very confused.
Right.
Only one.
You've got the football club playing on the charity property. Which bank account is the football club's money rent going to go into? Is it going to go into the charities, or is it going to go into Holbeach Parish Council and be ring fenced for the future because it's income?
Yeah,
Mm.
parish council.
Parish Council.
The advice that we were given from the solicitor was that basically it's far simpler for the parish council to continue to maintain the leases, and therefore as they've got the lease they will receive the income. But we as a charity within the management agreement can dictate how they utilise that income.
So that would be the football club, bowls club as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
so they basically are subletting to the football club this.
And say if you had any group that wished to rent the space for a period of time, maybe they were doing, so maybe you had some fitness group that wanted to go in there on a regular basis, and we said, okay, you can use it, but it's 50 quid a time or whatever. If that's what parish council decided to do, then any income they had from that would have to go into that money as well.
Like if they paid for the tennis courts.
Yeah.
If they paid to
Yeah,
play
if they
that,
did, but
it
they
would be any
not
income
to the
that
go to
houses,
the charity
so,
and not to the council.
So that would include anything that Carter's Park, that people wanted to hire.
Yeah, if
Parks
we
or
do
Carter's
a
Park
hiring
for-
agreement for it and we
If we
charge
do
for
that,
it,
yes.
then that would come under that as well.
Yeah.
We're about to have one because bounce house parties on
Yeah.
next
Well,
year,
that's-
so they'll donate, so that money then goes into
That's really
good.
ring fence
Yeah.
for Carts Park.
Has that answered your question?
Well, it leaves another question.
Okay, go on then.
So, will the parish council then be able to invoice the charity for any expenses?
No.
No.
Under the management agreement, they are responsible for all expenditure. End of. So they have to cover that however they do.
So, charity can get the money from the football club.
No, the charity doesn't get the money from the football club.
No, that goes
But,
into
so the
the...
parish council receive the income, but we as a charity can, if we choose to, stipulate how that income can be used. Because we are wanting it to basically be ploughed back in for the benefit of the public for Cottage Park, rather than subsidising, I don't know, something completely different for the parish precept that's not related to Cottage Park, if that makes sense.
But the precept will then be used to make sure the park is right for any events. So having events which is benefiting the charity can be incurring cost to the parish council.
Depends on who runs that event. A charity can run events the same as parish council can, if they choose to. It's a bit like basically having a lease, so like the football club have to pay for all their expenditure and things like that, and the maintenance of the grounds, and they then give an income. Exactly the same, it would just be a bit like we are in effect leasing to the parish council, but the parish council are also the trustees, so it's a bit of a...
So what is the situation on Tiger Roll? Because that is a commercial venture that has basically come in the back door on charity property.
It's ongoing at the moment.
Yeah,
We're in
we're having
communication
discussions
them.
with the football club about bits and pieces, but obviously they have also just changed who their committee members are.
New.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we as a charity and council are having discussions